Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I have a pretty important and transparent video to make for you guys. And so if you're in a position in your life right now where you're here, but you want to be here, and it feels like every day is kind of a means to an end, and it feels like, you're kind of living in that gap between where you are and where you want to be, and it's creating a lot of misery, and you feel like you should be further along, then this video is going to be pretty impactful for you. And so I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, man. For the past, month or so, I have lost a lot of the passion and excitement that I once had for the work that I do. And I've been trying to figure out why that is. And so every few months, I like to go into the forest. I like to go, somewhere very secluded and, do a little psilocybin and really reflect on my life. Some of my biggest life lessons have come from psilocybin trips. And so every few months, like when I feel it's needed, I like to do a little psilocybin and then go into the forest and just like really, unplug, right? Put my phone away, get off social media and just really reflect on my life. And so I did that yesterday, and I had a pretty intense realization about why, I haven't had that same passion and that same energy and that same excitement for what I do. Once upon a time, I woke up every single day and I felt this like tremendous fulfillment and passion and energy and excitement for what I do and my goals and things like that. And I kind of just fucking lost that for a while, and it made me really fucking miserable. It felt like every single day I was just waking up, trying to achieve this end state. Like every day was a fucking means to an end for me to get to my goal. And I lost all enjoyment for the journey and the process. And, for this to all make sense, I think we have to backtrack to when, how this all started, And so I got into fitness at a really young age. I started my first diet when I was like 10 or 11 years old, because growing up I was overweight. I had low confidence, low self-esteem. I was very unhappy with myself. And come 10 or 11, I started my first diet because I wanted to become skinny. I wanted to look like the other kids, because I was always like that odd kid out. Like I was always the fat kid, And so that really like wreaked havoc on my life, and I was fucking done with it. And I was like, I got to make a change at that young of an age, right? And then come 12 or 13, I started getting into weight training. And, so I've been doing this for quite a while. And when I was about 15 or 16, I knew that this was the path that I wanted to pursue in my life. Like I knew I wanted to become a fitness authority. I knew I wanted to spread my message and help other people, because I felt like I, even at that young of an age, had a message that was worth hearing. I felt like I had this, I had helped, friends and family and people like get into shape. And I was like, damn, like I could do this on like a broad scale, right? Because I saw other people doing it online, and I was like, I could fucking do that. And for me, I felt like a strong pull to that. I felt like that was my calling and that was my purpose. And so I sort of put the wheels in motion. If you go back to the beginning of my YouTube channel, you'll see that I had some videos when I was like, 16. I didn't pursue it with the same intensity that I do now, of course, but that's when I sort of set the wheels in motion. And then when I was 17, I went through a pretty rough breakup. It was my first love, and it was very painful. And funny enough, I don't need to get into the details, but I was actually the one who broke up with her, just because I felt like it was the right thing to do for various reasons. And I actually think I walked away with more pain, funny enough, even though I was the one who broke it off. And so that pain, I had a tremendous amount of pain from that. And I channeled that pain into who I wanted to become. A lot of people, when they go through breakups, there's that energy, there's that pain, and you can either, put it into like sulking and feeling bad for yourself, or you can channel it into something good. And that is what basically started me on this mission, and it really lit a fire under my ass and made me want to pursue my goals with maximum intensity. And fast forward a couple years, like I'm here and I've made some pretty good progress compared to when I started, right? But I never really acknowledged that. I never really acknowledged that progress that I've made. And that pain that forced me to approach my goals with such intensity is what I feel like is now creating a little bit of misery, because I'm at a point in my life right now where I feel like, I'm here, but I want to be here, and I'm living in this gap, and it's making me so fucking miserable, because I'm waking up each day and I'm just like thinking about this end state, this end goal that I want to get to, and I'm not there yet, and it drives me nuts. And I had that same issue when it came to fitness. You know, when I first got into fitness, I wanted so badly to reach this end state, this future outcome, right? I was so unhappy with where I was that I wanted to get here as fast as possible. And what happened was that every day was a means to an end. It was miserable. I didn't enjoy the process. And then what happened was that, you know, eventually I pushed through, I reached that goal, I lost the weight, and that void of unhappiness that I had initially felt was still there. I was still miserable. And that's when I realized that I had pretty much just like wasted my life. I pretty much wasted my life. Every day was a means to an end. I was so focused on the end destination that I didn't actually revel in the process and the journey. You know, and every day of my life was pretty much wasted, because here's the big takeaway from this, guys. Here's the thing that I learned. You know, life is only ever lived in the now. We only have the present moment. The future it doesn't exist. The past does not exist anymore. We only have the now. And so if you're living in the future, if you're living for this future outcome that you don't have yet, every day is a means to an end. It's a waste. You're so focused on this end destination that you're not paying attention to all you fucking have, which is this moment, this present moment. And, you know, I should have already known this, because I had already gone through it with fitness. And I had this big realization that, like, you know, I could have just enjoyed the process, man, because it's in the process where everything is to be gained. You know, you're like, oftentimes we're so focused on our fucking goals that we feel as though everything that is to be gained is at this future destination. But the truth is, guys, you know, you're going to reach that end destination. You guys are going to build your dream physiques one day. And guess what? You're going to get there and you're going to realize, oh, fuck, I'm still miserable. I'm still unhappy. You guys want to know something crazy? Where I am right now is the exact vision and goal that I had set for myself when I started Polarity Fitness a couple years ago. I literally set this exact goal. I reached that first fucking goal that I set for myself. I reached it. I'm here right now. And that void is still there, because guess what? You just pushed the fucking goalpost further. I just pushed the goalpost further, right? I did the same thing with my physique. I told myself when I was a little fat kid, once I get into shape, everything's gonna be great. My whole life is gonna be fixed. Everything's gonna be fucking fantastic. I reached that end destination and that void of unhappiness was still there. And I just pushed the goalpost. I kept pushing the goalpost further and further and further. And I'm doing the same thing with my entrepreneurial journey. You know, I literally set, like, where I am right now was a goal that I set for myself, and I'm here right now, and I don't have any of the things that I envisioned myself to have. And that's because I was so focused on this end destination, and like, it's just like when you get you buy something new, or you get a gift, and it's like, it's so amazing initially, and then you kind of just get bored of it and it doesn't really matter anymore. You know, that's kind of what it's like when it comes to fitness. You know, you're going to reach your dream physique, and it's just going to become normal to you. It's going to become like a mundane thing, right? But like, the most important thing is that you can't live in this gap. Like, it's natural, right? As human beings, we're here, right? We're here and we want to be here. But the problem is that, you know, all of stress, all of anxiety, all of depression is from being here and wanting to be here. And if you're just living in this gap and you're not really reveling in the journey and in the process, you're wasting your life away, guys, because life is only ever lived in the now. That's all we fucking have. The future is what, like, it doesn't exist, man. It's a projected you know, end state. Like, it's not a real thing, you know. And you're gonna get to that end goal, whatever that is for you. Maybe it's a fitness goal, maybe it's a different goal. You're gonna get there and you realize that you're still miserable. And so, you know, this is something that this is a lesson I've had to be reinforced with time and time again. And I know that, you know, some of my clients deal with the same thing. They feel like they should be further ahead. You know, they feel like they're here, their dream physique is here, and they're kind of living in this gap, and it's creating a lot of misery. And they feel like all there is to be gained is at this future destination. But the truth is, guys, everything that there is to be gained is in the journey. Because here's the thing, you're gonna achieve your dream physique, and the body is whatever. Like, you're gonna have the body, but what really counts is the person that you become along the way. And so everybody says, you know, it's all about the journey, focus on the journey. It's not about the end destination. You know, it's easy to say that, and it's very hard to understand that if you haven't actually lived it. But I've lived that a couple times now, and I can say like I truly, truly understand the meaning of that now. And so you truly have to fall in love with the actual inputs, the actual actions required to get to your goal instead of the goal. Like, you have to fall in love with hitting the workouts and training hard. You have to fall in love with going for walks and hitting your calories, hitting your protein. Because trust me, guys, I can tell you from experience now, once you reach that end goal, you know, if you felt like every day was a means to an end to get there, it's not gonna feel that satisfying, you know? And so really the moral of the story is, like, don't be so fixated on the end outcome that you forget to enjoy the journey and enjoy the process, guys, because that is truly where everything is to be gained. And if you don't enjoy the process, if you don't enjoy those inputs and those actions that you have to take, then you're wasting your life, because those actions, that's all the stuff that you're going to be doing in your day-to-day life in the present moment, right? Like, the goal, the outcome is a future projected state that does not exist. And so, you know, life is only ever lived in the now. It's only ever lived in the present moment. So if you're only focused on that future outcome, you're wasting your life, because while you're too busy focused on the end outcome, you're missing what's in front of you, which is your actual life, you know, the present moment. And that's what I realized has been creating misery for me for quite a while now, you know. And I have to always remind myself now, like, it's about the journey, it's about the process, you know. It's not about reaching this end state, because, you know, I'm going to reach that end state and I'm going to realize that, you know, that void of unhappiness is still there, and I'm just going to push the goalpost further and further and further. And then if I do that, then that whole, like, however long it took me to get there is just going to be wasted time, because I'm going to be missing my life.